Hafa day, everybody, and welcome to Weekend Edition. I'm Jason Salas. Thanks so much for watching or streaming us right here on KUAM. These are tonight's top stories. Well, there will be gambling again at the Liberation Carnival just in time for the 75th commemoration. Governor Lou Leon Gross signed a bill into law allowing the Mayor's Council to come up with new rules for the gaming. Nestor Lecanto has our top story.
Senator Jim Moylan is the author of the new law, who says the gambling at the festivities will be limited and closely monitored.
So this is 60 days only at the carnival grounds, regulated by the Department of Revenue and Taxation. In addition, it's not 24/7. It's just within the limited time frame as specified in the law now.
A bill last year by Senator Talina Nelson banned gambling after complaints over a 24-hour casino operation that ran many weeks past the typical Liberation Day celebration. But Moylan says he wrote the bill in response to pleas by village mayors that the festivities needed a boost in excitement and funding.
It's not what we've seen before. I think we learned our lessons, and the mayors are very excited to work within our rules and to provide the excitement of these games of chance for the people of Guam in recognizing what was then is not acceptable, but what we can do now to work with the legislature and the people of Guam to make it a good thing for our activities for our diamond anniversary.
But the clock is ticking. The start of the traditional Liberation festivities are just a few weeks away, and the rules and regulations for gambling must still be approved by the legislature.
I'm hoping just within the next week or so we can see something come to the senators' offices and we can get it on to the other senators and we can hear it and we can pass it and all should be good. So we do recognize the time sensitivity and we're willing to get it out as soon as possible.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Well, in our next report, Joe Dungan-Charfris tells us about a project providing critical transition services for youth and young adults at the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
Aimed at helping those ages 16 to 25 years old with a serious emotional disturbance or serious mental illness, Project Tulaika was recently launched by the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. Within the last 2 years, there have been high rates of suicide and homelessness for individuals within this age range. Helen Onadera is a project director.
The data is showing that there is this move to kind of catch them before falling through the cracks, and so that's why we have like the youth and young adults from 16 years old to 25. And so again, it's just to help create a seamless transition again for that age population into adulthood, to improve their life trajectories. And what that means is working with them in every aspect of their life while still addressing their behavioral and mental health.
The project, which is funded by a 5-year federal grant under the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, allows Guam Behavioral to partner up with the Department of Public Health and Social Services, merging the medical, behavioral, and emotional aspect together to create a holistic approach.
What that means is we're there at the centers, at the Northern and Southern Center, where they're on site, and so like if someone's there for their medical needs and the doctor thinks like, oh, maybe a mother who just had a child, maybe coming up like having postpartum depression or just any other concerns, we're there on site to kind of like, hey, you know what? Guam Behavioral is here in our doors. Like, we're just going to fill out this form and can just walk over and they can do a screening and an intake, which is what we can do at the sites.
By raising awareness, enhancing screening and detection, expanding outreach and engagement, and improving the coordination of care for these individuals, Project Tulaika aims to make a significant change.
The whole reason why we are also in the communities or in those those centers in the Northern and Southern Public Health Center is because a lot of it's the physical access to service. And so we're in the community meeting them where they're at. So we're hoping to like address transportation needs, right? So that's one way we're already like, okay, this is where we're at, we can meet you. And even if we're in your village, but you're on the other side, again, we can still kind of like meet you where you're at.
If you would like more information regarding Project Tulaika, you can call Onadera at 647-5317 or Carissa Pangilinan at 647-1901. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Joe Dungan-Charfris.
Well, Joan, the Education Board voted unanimously to change the JFK Reserve Officers Training Corps classroom to honor Chief Master Sergeant John Martinez.
It just really honors the person whose contributions to the department meant something to the community.
The change went through a public hearing process where students and alumni vouched for the sergeant's contributions. The name change occurred at a special Education Board meeting at JFK High on Wednesday. In other news tonight, Unanimously to Make Good recently held its grand opening at the Castro Art Gallery. Joan joined us once more about this one-man show and the meaning behind it.
Castro was briefly on Guam for the grand opening of his first solo art show. Entitled Unanimously to Make Good, is a journey to understand cultural identity and reflects upon the impact of centuries of colonial influences on the Chamorro culture. For Castro, art is in his blood.
I grew up surrounded by art. A lot of family members are artists, graphic artists, fine artists, teachers. So I've always been exposed to art, and it's always been around me. And so I just naturally grew up wanting to do it.
Throughout his years at George Washington High School, Castro would provide artwork for yearbooks and even wall murals. After graduating, he knew he wanted to expand on his passion and work on his craftsmanship. Castro, who holds a Master's of Fine Arts degree in painting from the Academy of Art University in San Francisco and a Bachelor of Arts in Interdisciplinary Visual Arts from the University of Washington in Seattle, said when putting together his collection, he wanted to explore his culture.
When I left the island, I knew that I had something special in my culture. There are not too many Chamorros, walking around the earth. So going to University of Washington, being in the military, and being deployed in different environments, I just noticed that our Chamorro culture is very unique, and it's something that needs to be preserved and expanded upon. So I figured the best way for me to showcase that is to do my entire thesis project on art culture.
Roughly 19 pieces are on display at the Castro Art Gallery, which is located on the second floor of the Tumon Sands Plaza. They're part of his thesis project that started back in 2015 and is an exploratory journey of trying to figure out his culture and understanding his cultural identity.
There's a lot of emotion that goes into the work because as I start studying the history and understanding all the different things that have happened, personally, just for me and in my understanding, it becomes a bunch of sad, angry, proud feelings that I think that help to define who I am and my cultural identity.
Unanimously to Make Good runs from now till May 17th. For more information on Castro and his work, you can visit GeraldDwayneCastro.com.
I know that there are a lot of artists out there that have strong, excellent work, and I'm just one of them. Here's an opportunity for you to see a collection of work that's been going on for the last few years, and it's about the Chamorro culture. It's about the journey and exploration of my cultural identity, of our cultural identity, if you identify as a Chamorro, and it's just, I think it's something that you might enjoy, so come on over.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Jonagan Charfres.
And in other island news headlines this weekend, Inedzak Finutumoro para Famaguun. That's the title of the newest publication from the Commission y Finutumoro. It's a Pictionary book for kids that illustrates items with their Chamorro name. The goal is to inspire kids to pick up the language and continue tradition. Here's board member Dr. Lara Self.
If our children don't speak Chamorro, our language will die. And so they're the carriers, the human carriers of the language and the knowledge that is embedded in our language, the cultural ethos, the mata that is embedded in our language. And so it's so important to us that we put children first in this revitalization effort.
The book's currently not for sale, but will be available at all GDOE schools and some federal DODEA schools. To find out how your school can get a hold of this book, you can contact the Commission. And also tonight, the Richard Flores Taitano Micronesia Area Research Center, otherwise known as MARC at UOG, is gearing up to present its 13th installment in their seminar series. On April 9th, the Division of Aquatic and Wildlife Resources Chief Celestino Uggan will lecture on Birds of Guam, a personal and historic perspective. That discussion begins at 6:30 p.m. at the College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences Lecture Hall. The MARC seminar lectures started back in the 70s to promote the UOG Guam Micronesia Studies program. The talks are pre-recorded for broadcast on YouTube and the Guam legislature channels on Docomo and GTA. Well, there are many more island news headlines. Please stay with us.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
A simple handshake. That's all Jake Calvo needed when he started his company. Today, 80 years later, we like to say thank you to all of you who have taken our hand in trust. Thank you to the dreamers. Thank you to the realists. Thank you to the family-oriented. Thank you to the entrepreneurial. Thank you to those climbing the corporate ladder. And to the ones starting a new life together. Thank you to the traditionalists and the edgy. To the young at heart and the old souls. Thank you to the daring, to the protective, to the practical. Thank you to the hopeful. To all of you from all of us, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
Looking for a great deal on a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Then get to Cars Plus in Mighty now for our spring sales event. Like a new Jeep Compass Sport, $166 per paycheck. Or a new Chrysler Pacifica LX, $220 per paycheck. Or save $8,500 on a new Ram 1500. How about a new Jeep Wrangler Sport? Only $274 per paycheck. Low 1.99% financing is available on approved credit. Save thousands during our spring sales event going on now at Cars Plus in Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Ruby Tuesday's Seafood Sensations menu is back. Choose from your favorite dishes made with succulent lobster tail, shrimp, or our newest sensations with crab legs. Try out appetizers like crab fondue or stuffed shrimp. Pick an entree like the lobster tail or crab leg dinner. Select the lobster carbonara or the deep sea pasta. It's all ready and waiting for you. Get hooked on Seafood Sensations for a limited time only at Ruby Tuesday, Guam.
All right, everybody, many headlines covered this week caught your eye on our social media properties. And now, let's take a look at what you had to say about the various island issues. Here's Asha with Trend Spotting.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Trend Spotting. Here's what caught your eye on social media this week. April 4th marked a day that Guam will be talking about for a very long time.
I have decided to sign the Bill 32 into law.
That's right, adult recreational marijuana is now legal on island. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero said her decision was made with an open mind and with tremendous earnest debate and discussions with nurses, doctors, social workers, religious leaders, youth, the island's elderly, senators, family, and friends. The online community went crazy after the news broke. Evangeline Cepeda showed her support and thanked Governor Leon Guerrero. She said, "Too long, and it took the senators and your office to do what the people voted for over 4 years ago." On the other hand, P. Taylor, 1964, firmly showed that he is very disappointed, stating, "It changes moods. Okay, go for it. I don't want to ever smell it. I really feel bad for those that use around me." However, whichever side you do fall on, here's a quick recap of what's contained in the new law. You must be 21 years of age or older in order to consume. You cannot smoke weed in public. Driving under the influence of cannabis is still illegal. You can plant up to 6 marijuana plants at home and out of sight from the public. And lastly, businesses and government agencies control their own drug policies. The Vatican has reached a final verdict in last year's appeal filed by Archbishop Anthony Apparon. After a Vatican tribunal found him guilty in March of 2018, Apparon maintained his innocence and filed an appeal. According to the final verdict, the Tribunal of Second Instance upheld the initial finding that Aperon was guilty of delicts against the Sixth Commandment with minors. Our Instagram and Facebook followers had no sympathy for Aperon regarding the matter. Veronica Pablo Clayton says, "I pray that those men who have been hurt by his evil doings find some justice and peace in this. It's a relief knowing that the Pope and the community did not turn their back on this." And Cecil the Dill strongly states, "End the system that keeps these men in positions that bring them to these ugly thoughts and actions. How many priests have to go through this before the root of this problem is addressed?" Aperon is officially removed from office, prohibited from residence in the Archdiocese of Agana, and is perpetually prohibited from using the insignia attached to the rank of bishop. The decision cannot be appealed. The 6 finalists for the Teacher of the Year Award were announced by Guam Department of Education Superintendent John Fernandez on Monday at the Cars Plus showroom in Mighty. Allison Perez, Lori Jane Denau, Eileen Canos, Jennifer Flory, Annalyn Palugad, and Clarice Mesa were recognized for their outstanding contributions outside of the classroom, as well as within it. Great job to all of those nominated this year, not just us from KUAM, but also from your online community.
All right, stay tuned because we're coming back with the Crime Stoppers report.
Advances in technique and medications used to prevent dental pain have shattered the myth that a dental visit is something to fear. Even the dreaded root canal or wisdom tooth extraction. Swabbing or spraying a topical numbing agent on before the injection, and using different techniques and anesthetics can create a relatively comfortable or pain-free injection. Injections are often the most feared procedure. Some patients don't like the sounds or the vibrations of decay removal. If you're still nervous or you gag easy, despite these techniques, very safe oral medicines can be taken before your dental appointment to eliminate all fears, or some clinics use nitrous oxide gas. Pain relievers can easily be prescribed to eliminate mild to severe dental discomfort after any visit. For your Helpful Dental Minute, I'm Dr. Kenny Bourgeois of Paradise Smiles. We shall never know all the good that a simple smile can do.
Looking for a great deal on a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Then get to Cars Plus in Mighty now for our spring sales event, like a new Jeep Compass Sport, $166 per paycheck, or a new Chrysler Pacifica LX, $220 per paycheck, or save $8,500 on a new Ram 1500. How about a new Jeep Wrangler Sport, only $274 per paycheck? Low 1.99% financing is available on approved credit. Save thousands during our spring sales event going on now at Cars Plus in Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Howdy, everybody, and welcome back to the show. Joining me right now is the Sarge, Paul Tapal from the Guam Police Department. Sarge, welcome as always.
Hey, Hafide, thanks for having me, man.
Okay, one thing that I know, because I've known you a long time, one thing that you have always tried to fight, literally and figuratively, is drugs in our community, and they are no more a problem than when you see the impact they have on children,
absolutely.
On young people.
Yeah, you know, it's really, you know, that's what we do and why we do our job. And the purpose behind it is really to help control and of course to help you know, teach our kids to make right choices. And you know, somebody asked, you know, Sarge, how do you fix the problem that's happening here with crystal methamphetamine and all this issue? And it really, there is no solution to that. It's just how we mitigate it in law enforcement, and of course to the courts interdiction, and of course to recovery. What we, you know, the real solution lies is that we can work back and where we can work with the kids and start teaching them how to make right choices and give them that sense of empowerment where they can actually have the tools to make good and bad choices, and you know, they can actually walk away unscathed of the harmful effects of any substance that's illegal or substance that is considered contraband within the schools and within that's in the statutes of law.
Okay, and I'm glad you brought that up because any substance is the key phrase. And for young people who may, they watch the news every once in a while, they see stuff flying by their newsfeed and Facebook. So many times drugs is defined like on Guam as marijuana and meth and ice.
Yes.
But it's actually a lot broader than that.
It is. And, we're starting to see a lot of our younger kids are actually doing experimental, ingestion of different slews of substance from gas to butane to even just your household items. And this is why we're reaching out to the parents to really be the stewards of parents and be the parental guidance to start teaching your kids what's right and wrong. And, I guess I can comment to this because of the fact that it's actually gone viral on social media with that kid that's, it's unfortunate that that kid laying there that's being shared on social media, it may have been succumbed to something other than that of just the common alcohol or, common beer or common hard liquor that you can get off your mom's shelf. It may be attributed to something else. And, it really is, it broke my heart when I saw that and when I read the reports, and I was like, wow, that's a shame, because here's something that a kid can get off the shelf for $1.99 and not knowing the full effects. It's really, as we ask ourselves, where are the parents? And that's always the question that everybody asks is, where are the parents in this? And, for me personally, as a parent and as a father, no parent should go through that, to sit there beside your, your loved ones and really just holding on to hope and praying that the kid pulls through. And, it's really unfortunate that this is happening and moving from one extreme to another extreme to where it's now you have parents who have control and who allow their kids to start by vaping and being engaged in these sort of activities. Is really, where do we set the boundaries as parents? And this is where you as parents, you do have to set boundaries. And it's important that you establish those boundaries because this is how you can help us in our line of work in really teaching the kids about resistance and control and, of course, saying no and making better choices, because it really boils down to critical thinking and parental involvement by setting those boundaries in which, stand your ground and just be a parent.
What kind of resources are available, Sarge, on island or online, maybe even more importantly, because so many parents have not had this conversation with their kids and they're like, I don't even know where to start. My kid is, like say in high school, they're at a very rambunctious age, they're very rebellious, and they're probably going to just reject everything I say anyway.
We'll scale it back down to middle school.
Okay.
Right? We'll use middle school because that's where the hormones and everything starts kicking into the body and all the changes and stuff. And this is where the rambunctious activity happens. Fortunate about it is that we have the Department of Education and a partnership, and they have a lot of interdiction and intervention programs. Aside from that, we also have Guam Behavior. And these are the resources that are available to you when it becomes recognized either by the school or with us with the Guam Police Department. But it starts with the forefront. It starts at the home front, where parents need to recognize these type of behaviors and be that parent, be the steward of their family, and say, hey, look, we do have an issue. Maybe I do need to reach out to Guam Behavior. Maybe I do need to reach out to our school counselors, because if you're starting to see repeat issues happening with your kids, and these are telltale signs that they're on the path for, something as tragic as what's going on and what you're seeing in social media.
Okay. Well, do we have a crime of the week this week?
No. That's why we wanted to take advantage of this time just to really talk about it, because, with the passage of...
We're using the whole segment to talk about this.
Yeah,
this is how important it is.
Yeah, Bill 3235, it is now law, and, everybody has been calling, what are we going to do? So I can answer that with the Guam Police Department, because the recreational use or the decriminalization of cannabis is now law. We at the Guam Police Department, and I want to assure this to the community, that we will do everything that is required by us, by the mandates of law, to do the enforcement aspect of what's required with the passage of the bill. But again, it falls on under responsibility. You as a responsible adult, you decide to choose to use, to engage in recreational cannabis, but you also as a responsible parent. We're seeing the question is, well, the kids have access to alcohol, easily accessible. Why is that? The teachers ask, these kids are, the kids in the schools they come in drunk and everything. We need to scale that back, and we really need to ask, why do the kids have access to this? Where are the parents? This is where we want to bring out. Maybe again, it really is me being the father that's coming out hard, but really we need to harp on the parents, and we need to ask the parents to really start understanding what's happening to your kids and understanding who they're hanging out with, and what's really going on with their life, because it's important.
And maybe it all comes out to the fact that everybody has a choice to make.
It is. And you know, every time I end my presentations with the schools, and we've been fortunate to be a part of the partnership with DOE, because we've come up with programs. We have this program called Chat with a Cop. We sit down and we talk to the kids, you know, particularly in the middle school kids. I just recently finished 2 middle schools talking to them about alcohol abuse and alcohol awareness. And really it is, the final statement that I leave is really, it's about critical thinking. You need to know what's right and wrong, and you need to deploy critical decision-making skills. The schools teach that, but parents need to be the first line of educating the kids about making critical decisions. Schools should only reinforce that. And it really is, again, going to fall back to the parents. And as we move into this new era with the passage of 32-35, you know, the recreational use of cannabis, it really is important now that parents get involved. You know, rest assured, again, the Guam Police Department, we're going to do everything. We're going to do everything like what we do with the DUI enforcement with driving impaired driving. And we are going to do everything that's required of us, that's mandated by us, by law, to make sure that everybody follows the rules and the laws pertaining to this particular bill. So we kindly ask the parents, take ownership.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Sarge. We appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, if you are watching this segment online, make sure you scrub back, just rewind the clip, because the Sarge had a lot of good information. Make sure you and your kids have that talk. Okay, we're back after this.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior